Hi, I am Lisa Garr, and welcome to the Aware News. Research shows that 80% of adults in the U.S. have back and neck pain at some time. Could this be you? Did you know that when you want to become more flexible in your movements, your brain needs to change first? And if you want to get stronger in your body, it's also your brain that needs to change, not just the muscles. And if you want to think more clearly, a change maybe in an emotional pattern, it's also your brain that needs to change first. Anat Baniel is the creator of the Anat Baniel Method Neuromovement. And after years of working with tens of thousands of people, along with her understanding of how the brain changes itself, Anat teaches ways to access the brain and to overcome pain and limitation. Who wouldn't want this?
Everybody.
You say that we don't necessarily have to live with pain. 80% of us do. You don't think so?
No, a lot of people have pain at some time, and a huge number of people have chronic pain.
Chronic pain.
So, but what I say is that there are ways to either reduce it significantly and or get rid of it.
So it could be from an injury, it could be from an accident, it could be from just stiffness or lack of movement. Why do you think so many people suffer from pain?
It's, I think, definitely injuries and so on, but their habits, the way we move. Because the way we move, we learn how to move, we get habituated how we move, and if it's not done in a harmonious way, according to how we are structured, it does tear and wear on the body.
So can you look at anyone
Yeah.
and see what's going on in their body?
Well, I see a lot.
Yes,
Yes.
you must. You must.
And it's not like there's one correct way that everybody's supposed to stand like everybody else. But there's a process where we learn to move how to move. We get more and more refined and sensitive, not in terms of sensitivity, pain, but attuned to ourselves, that we just move our body in a way that it's built to work, and then we don't create,
Localized,
friction
yes.
and inflammation as much.
Yes. Yeah, inflammation, that's another big deal.
Oh, huge.
And localized pain. So I have back pain, probably like a lot of people watching, and I tend to protect my back, or I'm constantly aware of my back pain. And it takes a lot of mental bandwidth.
Yes.
It takes up a lot of time and energy to not focus on that back pain.
Well, pain, biologically, its functional purpose is to focus on it.
Yes.
That's what it's
Wants
there
my
for.
attention. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's a warning sign. It's like, don't do this, or don't go there, or don't move this way. So the whole idea that people used to say, or at least sometimes maybe still say, no pain, no gain, is a huge mistake.
Yeah. I heard that a lot.
Yes.
When I was young, yes.
And sometimes we have to move and act through pain. Mm-hmm. In a specific condition, we can't say, oh, I'm not going to do it because I have some pain, especially if it's a question of, acute situation. Mm-hmm. But in an ongoing basis, pain is a call for action in the sense of figuring out how to change how I'm moving, how to change how I'm acting, so that it'll go away.
That's the best news, that you actually can change it, and that
Yes.
change is possible, and it can
Yes.
affect the pain. So, neuromovement, what is that? How do you change this pain with your brain?
Well, neuromovement is basically utilizing movement as the fundamental mechanism of communicating with the brain. So the brain is an information system. It's not a mechanical system. This is our mechanical side of ourselves, right?
Okay.
The brain organizes the body. The brain puts order in the disorder, makes sense out of the nonsense. So the brain needs information in order to form itself, to form patterns, and to form control of the body, and to form habits, which are very important. So neuromovement utilizes movement I say movement is the language of the brain. I speak to the brain through movement. I communicate with the brain through movement. And we can communicate with our own brain through our own movement.
So it's an information system that's incredibly connected, and it's not separate.
I mean, it's dependent on having a moving body. If the body doesn't move, everything stops.
But how many people do you see just sitting at the desk and it's neck up, and they're just completely unaware of the body? It happens.
Yeah,
it absolutely happens.
Easily.
So there are 9 essentials that help you build the stronger brain first, which then helps the body. And this is the foundation of neuromovement, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can we talk about those 9 essentials?
I love to talk about that.
Yes, you do.
It's like having 9 children.
Okay.
These are 9 children that I love.
I love it. You care about them that much.
Yes,
Great.
I do. So for the essentials to make sense, the essentials basically are conditions that wake up the brain and get it to, and wake up meaning start creating new connections, and from those new connections we build certain neural networks, right? So when I do this with my hand, my brain knows how to do that. And it has learned to do it. None of us are born with any of our, voluntary movements and actions. So, but for the essentials to make sense, I want to make one statement. The question is, what is the source of information to the brain? And normally people would say stimulation.
Outside stimulation.
Yeah, outside stimulation. Yes, but not enough. Or in mathematics, necessary but not sufficient condition.
So we're responding to our external environment, yes, but it's not enough.
Well, responding is already an outcome. What's the source of information? How does the brain actually get information? So there is a stimulation coming from the outside or from our own body, from inside. It's the perception of a difference, the perception of differences within the flow of stimulation that has informational value for the brain.
Perception of
a difference. So let me give you an example. So I look at you and I see sort of a burgundy-ish color of your shirt.
Okay.
And then I see blue, light blue. That's easy because between light blue and burgundy, it's a big difference in color. It's a contrast. But if my brain, because of whatever is happening in my eye and the physiology, I don't see the difference. I don't have the colors. They don't exist. They just don't exist. If I speak louder and I speak softer and I don't perceive the difference, I can't control my voice. I will have whatever voice I have. You see that with, for instance, children sometimes on the autism spectrum. They don't perceive those differences very clearly. The more you tune the brain, you wake it up, you give it the conditions to perceive differences, the more brilliant it is, the more youthful it is, and the more intelligent it is in finding solutions.
Fascinating.
In movement, in thinking, emotionally, in every dimension, because the brain organizes everything, every aspect of ourselves.
So you want to show the brain contrast constantly, contrast.
Well, I want to do, yes, that, but I want to create the conditions that the brain is getting better at perceiving contrasts.
Okay.
That the contrasts can go finer and finer, and I still feel them. That's when I can get my movement more refined, and the brain can find a way, for instance, to sit or lift the arm or whatever it may be, that is not painful. Or maybe lift it in a way I haven't lifted it for years.
Wow.
Or if somebody had an accident, they have a limitation. And this is where the miraculous happens over and over again, because the brain, that's what the brain is built to do. So when you give it the conditions to do it, it goes like, yay,
yes,
let's do it.
Yes.
And it just does it, and the transformations can be really remarkable.
This is how you feel more awake and more alive in your body.
You are more awake and
Yes.
more alive.
Yes.
This is the aliveness.
That's, everybody wants this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. More freedom, more connection. So, all right, explain the 9 essentials and how you refine this level of contrast so the brain sees newness.
Okay, so the first essential is movement with attention. Movement is change. The moment I move, that is change. What I discovered as I was started doing my work is that when when my student pays attention to what they feel as they move, they start changing really, really fast.
The subtleties.
Well, no, it's that when you pay attention to what you feel, you start perceiving the differences.
Okay.
And there is brain research that shows that when movement is done without attention, there is no detectable change in the density of connections in the brain associated to the part that's moving. Not in the motor cortex and not in the sensory cortex. But when you design the experiment in a way that requires, it was monkeys, to pay attention to the part that they were moving, which happened to be the finger, they could readily detect massive changes, the density of connections. That means new connections in the brain. That's the structuring of the brain. So we move, we have to move.
Yes.
Movement is life.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So and babies, infants do a lot of that spontaneously, or they would not grow and develop and learn. And when babies have a reason that they can't do it, they don't grow and develop properly. So the brain is built to pay attention to the feeling of self. That's how we survive, except that we get educated throughout life unintentionally to dissociate from that.
Fascinating. I will say that Anat does incredible work with children, and especially babies that have some type of a physical
or developmental issue.
Or developmental issue. And there's miracles that you have
but also
created.
adults. I saw yesterday, 77-year-old man. He has clear cognitive decline, and they think he's starting to have Parkinson's. His wife brought him because she's trying to protect him and save him. And he, a highly accomplished man, medical doctor, beautiful human being. And I started working with him. So he lay on the back, and he doesn't feel himself. You know, he's sort of like, he's kind of gone and can't retrieve the memory, the whole thing. And I started working on him. And in the beginning, I touched him. He was like a rock. It was like his brain was dead to his body, right? By the end of the lesson, everything started moving. He's a tall guy, but he gained back about 1.5 inches in height.
Oh my goodness.
And the wife started crying. And I looked at her and I said, "Why are you crying?" She said, "He's vibrant again. I see vibrancy in his face again."
Yes.
So, and I said to him, I said, "Proof positive you have a brain and you have a good one. So let's get it to heal and wake up."
And it's never too late. And there's not ever going to be an illness that you can't start to work on overcoming or coming back from.
Well, with multiple sclerosis, with those degenerative diseases, if we wait till there's a lot of deterioration, I found that when we work with it, we can give it a bit more comfort, but we're not able to get the growth of new connections to match the loss of connections. But if we catch it soon enough, it makes a huge difference.
Got it. So that was the step one of the nine
one of
essentials.
nine.
One of nine.
Yeah, so let's try and get through the rest.
So movement with attention. All right, now another.
Attention to the self.
To the self.
Because people are trained to pay attention to the outside, no, pay attention to the feeling of self.
Okay.
The second one is slow.
Slow.
Slowing down. The way the brain is built, fast we can only do what we already know. Fast is the habitual. Fast is the automatic. It's important to have fast and automatic. However, if we want to wake up, if we want to get into a state of being, again, learning beings and changing beings, slowing down. Anytime you want change, slow down around the area that you're exploring.
So if there's pain, be cognitive of it, of the feeling of it, and then slowly start
the movement
to move.
Down.
Okay.
Everything you do. You want to learn a new sport. You want to improve your golf swing. You want to become a better lover. Anything you want. Slow down. Then you can go faster, slower once you know it, once you're happy with how you perform.
That makes sense with the being cognitive of the movement and now paying
and you
attention.
perceive differences, right? And next one is reduction of force.
Okay.
Really reduction of the intensity. It's a physiological phenomena, and what it is that the more intense the stimulus, the more intensity we have to add to it so that we actually perceive a difference. So example, I was just in New York, you walk down Broadway Avenue, midday, and somebody talks to you in a normal voice, you won't hear anything because the background noise is so big. The same thing is true for our muscles. If we put a lot of effort, a lot of power into the muscles, the brain can't find changes in intensity, so it can't regulate and adjust and learn to do it better.
So is it kind of like when you add the intensity, it makes it, it deafens it a little bit?
Yes, it deafens it a lot.
Okay.
Now, again, it's just like with the slow and fast. With a subtle or soft, gentle and strong or powerful, in the learning, in the vitalizing of yourself, in finding how you want to do something, you reduce the effort, you slow down, you pay attention to what you feel as you move, and then when you figured it out, then that's the rain. We're having lots of water.
Oh, is that the rain?
So
it's
let's
beautiful.
just enjoy the background. It's a background sound. Yes.
Talk about subtlety of sound. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, so when you're in the gym and you're really lifting hard and you're putting a lot of resistance on a weight, you're not really feeling the subtleties of it, right?
You can't possibly do it.
Okay.
You can't correct. So when that's one of the mistakes they do with training young children with athletics, dance, and so on. How music is taught. They're asked to do things fast and hard right away. That's why 95% of people never get to be really good, and there's a lot of injuries.
Oh, too fast, too soon.
Too fast, too strong, because one of the ways to say it is when you go already really fast and so on, you don't know what you're doing. Your brain is taken over. It goes to the automatic. Awareness, that's awesome, but the knowledge, I know what I'm doing, I can feel it. I go like, oh, no, let me back off. And once you start being a good feedback system within yourself, then the moment you back off, the brain goes like, wait a minute, so what are we going to do? And it looks for another way of doing, which leads me to the next essential.
Okay.
Variation.
Wow. Okay.
It's like sitting in the rainforest. And they're doing an interview in the rainforest. Isn't that fantastic?
So is yoga a good explanation of what you're talking about when it's done right?
Yes.
Slow, intentional movement with feeling.
Yeah, the feeling of self.
Okay.
Variation, yoga has ample variation between positions. So that's very good.
Good, okay.
Another very, very important variation that accelerates change in learning, positive change in learning so much, is variation with what you are doing. So let's take a yoga pose. So let's say you're trying to do one of the twisting things,
yes,
right?
Yes.
I don't know the names of the poses, but I know some of the poses for sure. So people try to get into the pose and sort of yank themselves and stretch a bit and try. And most people don't improve a whole lot, especially not after a little while, because it gets habituated in the brain. But if you go and you twist yourself to do it, and then you say, okay, this is how far I go, you go a little back, and then you take the head in the opposite direction. You cross the arms, you bend, you round your back, you say, you do something with the eyes, we'll do movement exercise in a minute. Good. Then you twist again to do the yoga pose, and there's always at least a 10-20% improvement, and it feels easier, and you're much less likely to get pain or injury.
Beautiful. Just so you know that Anat and her Neuromovement course, which is what you're seeing behind us, takes you through several of these exercises. And it's an incredible course, and this is available for the fund drive here at Free Speech TV. And just so you know, you could either look it up at freespeech.org or call 877-378-8669 and ask the volunteers in the phone room about the options. There is, for a $100 donation to the station, you can get this physical, entire incredible package sent to you, and it's called Neuromovement Vitality, Anti-Aging, and Well-Being, because when you do this, you ultimately look at Anat. She's 107 years old. She looks great. It's a 5-day workshop, by the way. It includes 11 movement lessons, 8 presentations, discussions, demonstrations, Anat's brilliant teaching, and Q&A sessions, all sorts of incredible. It's literally hours of movement lessons to get you out of pain. So we're not going to just sit here and talk about this. You actually can have access to this as well by calling the station 877-378-8669. So going back to here, so we've talked about several of the 9 essentials. Variation was the last one we talked about.
And variation is differences.
Okay.
So this is actually the easiest way to give the brain perception of differences. And the thing about the brain is the more it perceives differences, the better it gets at doing it.
Wow.
The brain itself upgrades its own quality of functioning. That's why Michael Merzenich said that this work, the famed neuroscientist, said that this work gets people to have stronger, better brains.
Yes, that's what we want.
Yeah,
yes.
And with a stronger, better brain, everything can get better in all dimensions, in the cognitive area, in the emotional area.
This is better than supplements. I mean, I like brain supplements, but you have to move.
Yeah, well, the brain supplements are great because you want the brain to get the nourishment that it needs. But then when you get the nourishment, what do you do with the brain? I mean, you can get the nourishment, but they still
have a stagnant brain, yes.
Yeah, it depends what you do with yourself.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we've talked about awareness, variation, being attentive to the movement, subtlety, resistance or lack of resistance.
I mean, so it's the movement with attention to the feeling of self, it's a reduction of effort, it's slowing down, and it's introducing variations into what you do. When you try to solve a problem and you don't figure a solution, it can be in math, can be in figuring out how to do, I don't know, whatever, start introducing ideas, solutions that maybe you even know are not going to work from the beginning, but just by bouncing possibilities around, you'll find that your creativity is going to shoot up enormously.
That's a bonus.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's huge.
Because our brains are built to be very creative.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And when you have those moments where you just can't think or you're lethargic, this is the way. So let's do an exercise if we can.
Sure.
With our wonderful listeners here of how we can start to change. Play along. Do this at home, okay?
Yeah. You need to have a chair because we're sitting in a chair. Those lessons can be done lying. We do a lot of them lying down, sitting on the floor, sitting in a chair, standing up. I mean, because we eventually cover, of course, all dimensions of where we move. So, how about getting the neck a little freer?
Yes.
Would you like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, always. Yes.
All right.
We hold a lot of tension here.
Which side do you want your head to get freer right now?
This side.
Okay.
This side. Okay. All right.
Okay, so I'm going to be your teacher right now.
Okay, good.
Okay, come to the edge of the chair.
Okay.
Sit at the edge of the chair. And if you're okay taking off your shoes for a moment.
Sure. It's the best part, okay? Yes.
That's cute.
This is good.
Spread your feet a little and your knees. And lean on your right hand behind you on the chair.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Back here like this?
Yeah, and really put weight somewhere and you can slouch a little. Don't just make yourself comfortable. Comfort is so important for learning.
Okay.
Comfort and safety, very important.
Okay.
And now, take your left hand and put it in front of you. And this time do it a little differently. Here we go. Just like that.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
You free your wrist. That's why it's hanging. And you imagine there's a little stick between your nose and your wrist.
Okay.
Oh, before we do that, sit up. I'm sorry, sit.
Okay, okay.
And just turn your head to look to the left and see how far you see what you see. Come back to the middle. Do it gently one more time and see what you see. That's right. And never stretch, never to go to try to go further or whatever.
Okay.
And then turn it gently to the other side, to your left side, and see what you see, and come back. And again, turn it to this side and come back. And now lean on your right hand behind you.
Okay.
And lift this arm up.
Okay.
And look, imagine that there's a stick, so they're going to move together.
Okay.
That's why you imagine the stick. And now begin taking your arm and your head, looking at the wrist, and turn yourself, twist yourself to the right gently, and
body,
back,
okay.
and back, and let the legs be free, and just feel what's moving. Go slowly, and feel where you feel movement. So you probably feel some movement in the upper back.
Yes.
You feel that the head and the arm move in space.
My side here.
You feel your side here.
Yes.
And don't change anything, but I'm going to say something, point something out. So to turn, don't change, turn. And notice that the pelvis moves, but just a tiny little bit.
Right.
You feel?
Right.
So stop and rest for a moment.
Okay.
Bring the hand to the middle, and just feel how you feel sitting. And feel, by the way, when you stop, if anything changed. Feeling maybe...
Yeah, feel a little bit taller.
Yeah, exactly. I saw you were taller. And notice if one shoulder is a little lower than the other.
This one.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Interesting.
Yes, okay. Lean on your right hand again. We're going to go to one side only. And now lift your arm.
Okay.
And now go very slowly, twist, and stay as far as comfortable, and stay there. There you go.
Okay.
And now only the head. Turn it a little bit more to the right, but very gentle. And just feel the quality of the movement and come back.
Do I move my eyes or keep it on here?
No, first just move the head alone.
Oh, okay.
Move the head, with the eyes, I mean, with the eyes. There you go.
Okay.
And now keep looking at the wrist, but move the head to the right. That means that the eyes will move in opposite direction to the head.
Okay.
And back, and just make sure you're breathing.
It's good for eye exercises.
Well,
like it.
it's good. It's very good for the brain. And come back.
Yeah.
And then again, do that. And now turn the head only to your left, but keep looking at the wrist.
Okay.
Head only to the left, keep looking at the wrist, and breathe. Okay. Yeah, you see the inner feeling. It's like everything is good.
Okay.
There's nowhere to rush.
Okay. Great.
One more time. There you go, sweet. Come back to the middle with everything. Lean on the hand still, and do one movement of twisting everything together and feel if there's any difference. And look what the difference.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
you know what changed.
Wow.
Aside from the movement itself, do it again and I'll talk. See, your pelvis now is moving forward. So the movement we did with the head and the eyes woke your pelvis. Rest for a moment.
Yes. Yes.
We're going to do one more thing.
Okay. Well, that is fascinating.
And just rest.
And you can just do this all from your chair. Okay.
Yeah. And just feel. Yeah. You feel that?
Yes.
And lean, we'll do one more variation. Lean on your hand. Twist yourself to the right as far as is comfortable. Excellent. It maybe went a little bit too much.
Okay.
Just easy. And now, look at the wrist. Look at the wrist.
Okay.
And now put the hand on top of your head, this hand, your left hand. And very gently bend your right, wait, don't look at me. Bend your right ear to the right shoulder.
Okay.
And the left ear to the left shoulder. That's it. With the help of the hand. So,
Okay, yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
I guess I can't stand up, but here we go. Keep the, and now as you do that, flatten your fingers. I'm going to show you something so the audience can see it. Okay. You see, how about we know that not the knee, the tush. You see how now, and then shorten the other side, lift the other hip. Head is not supposed to move solo. And the most powerful muscles of your body are right here.
Yes.
That alone can make a huge difference.
Oh, that feels so good. It's a great stretch.
It's
too.
not a stretch. You're not stretching anything. You're moving it. The brain lets the muscles get long, it contracts the muscles, then it lets go and contracts those, and then come back to the middle.
Wow.
It's movement, it's not stretching. Stretching is working against yourself.
I see the difference, yes.
Yeah, and now feel, if I just, no, don't twist, just but feel that.
Yeah,
You see, you see that, now feel how you're sitting. Your
My back is supporting me.
Exactly.
Yes.
And now lean on your hand one more time.
Okay.
Put the arm in front and just twist around and feel how you're turning now. And remember, you have a tush. There you go. That's it.
Wow, that
and
is
you see
so
your
much
back when you do it.
more freedom.
You look 20, 30 years younger when you move like that.
Before I felt, yes, I was very stiff.
Now, and sit. Just feel how you're feeling.
Yes.
And feel the difference between the right side and the left side.
I feel more awake, alive.
Yeah. And feel the shoulder, feel the weight through the hips, and feel the difference. You see? And I do it on one side, so you see how quickly the brain responds.
Yeah.
And now when you do this, your pelvis is rolling back.
Body's moving and everything.
Yeah. Like
that is fantastic.
Like a healthy child. Yeah.
Yes, I can see how this works. Oh, this is beautiful. I really thank you for that demonstration, and we're going to do more. But if you would like to take this to the next level and do these incredible 11 different movements, this is a 5-day workshop. It's called the Neuromovement, Vitality, Anti-Aging, and Well-Being. So I really feel more revitalized, alive, and I did all of this from a chair, and it's incredible. And so this is a 5-day workshop, 11 movement lessons, 8 presentations. If you call right now, 877-378-8669, then you can ask the volunteers in the phone room about the Anat Baniel Neuromovement package. And this either comes in physical package, so if a $100 donation, it could be shipped to you from Free Speech TV, or you can get the downloadable version, which you can do online, and you don't have to wait for anything to come in the mail. You would just get a link at the end of the fund drive and be able to download this and do this from your desktop or whatever type of computer device that you have. So either way, give us a call, 877-378-8669, and you can also go online to freespeech.org. Fantastic information. And by the way, the digital offer is $75 pledge, and the physical offer is $100 pledge to this incredible network, Free Speech TV, that absolutely exists on your donations. What you put in is what you get out. Free Speech TV brings the voices and the news and the information that you won't see on commercial outlets. This is why you're here. This is why you're a part of this family. So we appreciate your support very much. Okay, so not only does this whole thing play a huge role in anti-aging and a lot that has to do with cognitive function and cognitive thinking, wow, what about if you have had multiple surgeries or had a specific injury? Can you also work with that? Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people have to check with their doctor if they're safe to do exercises, movement exercise, and so on. But look, we work with the stroke survivors.
You do?
Wow. We work with the veterans that were injured in the, wars. In battles and in war zones, and it's when, let's say, somebody has a stroke or had an injury or even just broken a leg or had knee surgery, from the point of view of the brain, it's a new body. You see, when something changes in the periphery, in the structure, the brain has to figure out how to recompute everything. Because the brain doesn't move an arm. The brain moves the whole body with the outcome of the arm getting here. You see, we think about the movement that we perceive as if the brain, it couldn't. It's all attached. So the moment that I move myself, all the weights shift in space. So it has to recompute. So when you have injury, this work is dramatically effective in recovery.
Is it different than physical therapy?
Very different. And I'll tell you the difference. The fact that there's physical therapy and so on is a huge evolution in human existence. It used to be that people got hurt and tough luck, right?
Right.
And physical therapy is evolving also all the time. But the one big important difference is that in traditional therapy, there's the tendency to ask the person or to try to have the person do what they can't do or do what they lost.
Right.
We don't do that because they can't.
Right.
So when you try to do something you can't do, if you have more or less the ability to approach it, you will do it, but usually get very limiting habits. You learn your limitations, you learn your mistakes, or you learn your failure. Depends where you land. Mm-hmm. What we do is we take the person and start doing different learnings where they are. We start where the person is, and we get more differentiation, more freedom, like you said. And then on top of that, we build the next thing. So we help the brain form the underlying neural networks that eventually lead to the ability to stand, to walk, to lift the leg, to go down to the floor. So if I get an older person that can't go down to the floor, I don't say, okay, let's do 10 minutes every day going down to the floor. And they will quit because it's hard, because it's dangerous for them, they hurt and so on. I would start with a lesson like this. I would probably start lying down, and if they can't lie down on the floor, I'll have them lie in bed, on their bed, and start doing things to get the pelvis and the head and the eyes and so on to coordinate in ways that then eventually you can just very easily go up and down, not a big deal.
Wow, that's amazing.
So when we work, for instance, with stroke, if we get them early enough, the trajectory of improvement is incomparable.
Wow.
And I believe that within 5 years, the way the world is today, to 10 years, 15 years, all of rehabilitation will adopt this approach. It's really biologically, neurologically based approach.
I will hold that vision for you as well, because I absolutely think that this is necessary. That's why we're doing this show about this, because I want more people to understand you can have freedom in your body, you can get out of pain. That's the combination of the neuromovement. It's very, very important. And I get that there's a lot of stress in the world, and there's a lot of change in the world, and there's a lot of things going on politically, but we have to be aware of our bodies because we live in them every single day. And a lot of us are just trying to get out of them.
And not only that, the world is, we have a lot of issues.
Yes.
And life, but even when everything is fine, life is very challenging.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Right.
I mean, life, we have to be strong. And this work, even though the approach is through gentle, that gets you strong because you become skillful. And the more skillful, the more knowledgeable, the more intelligent you are, the more you can make it in life.
Yeah, that's true. It benefits every single area of your life. I want you to actually take a look here at a clip of Anat Baniel doing the neuromovement lesson. Take a look.
I've been in a lot of pain for the last 2 weeks, and they said that my hip maybe, it was the thing I didn't want to hear, that they think I'm losing cartilage in my hip. And every step would hurt, and after the first day, I didn't have pain anymore. So that's really, really delightful.
Wonderful. Pain can be caused by injuries, surgeries, and other medical conditions. But most often, pain comes from the way we have been using our bodies, the way that our brain has figured out how to move us, like the way we stand, how we walk, and the movements we do every day.
My name is Joel. I'm 71 years old, and over the past several years I've developed a number of walking issues, and I must say in 4 relatively short lessons I feel like an absolutely new person. I have fluidity in my knees, I have fluidity in my hips, my walking is a lot better. I came with chronic foot pain, I don't have foot pain anymore, and all I can say is that it is quite amazing.
Habitual, rigid, limited, and compulsive patterns of movement often are the cause of the pain we experience. Through the 9 essentials of the Anat Baniel Method, and through very safe, gentle, and fun movement lessons, you will wake up your brain and you will flood it with new information that gets it out of its rut to discover new alternatives and pain-free ways for you to move.
I had pretty severe back pain coming in, wasn't able to walk upright. was then I'd be able to sit on the floor listening to the lectures for quite a while. And through this work, I've been able to figure out how to move in my body to alleviate that pain. I still play golf and I still mountain bike.
A healthy body is a body that moves in a fluid way, with the brain recalibrating information on an ongoing basis. Because the body is an integrated system, it is difficult to fix, for example, lower back pain by simply focusing on the lower back. With the Anat Baniel Method, you will get to move not only your whole body, but also your mind in many different and new ways. Your pain will diminish and oftentimes simply disappear. In the process, you will become more flexible and stronger. Your breathing and posture will improve, and you will experience an increasing level of creativity, clarity, and self-awareness.
Yes. It's amazing. I mean, there's no pain. I can move it back, forward, up, down. I have 2 tears on my rotator cuff. I've been to 2 different doctors, 2 different physical therapists, and I'm going on next Tuesday, and she's going to be shocked because she's going to say, oh my gosh, what happened? I mean, because she just won't be able to believe it because, you know, they measure you and stuff, so.
Yay! Don't overdo
No, wait.
Okay. Whether you do our pain-free movement programs through the DVDs, through our workshops, through private sessions, or through our professional training programs, or also through our online interactive movement program called Desk Trainer, the changes you will see and feel are going to be staggering. Get ready for a whole new you.
So that was an example of what you will get in the Neuromovement package here, is doing these exercises with Anat. And I wanted you to see that because I wanted you to see how achievable this is and how possible this is. And the benefits are incredible. Anti-aging and well-being and overall happiness is a great result. Again, the online program is a 5-day workshop. It includes 11 movement lessons and 8 presentations and discussions, demonstrations, Q&A session with Anat and Dr. Michael Merzenich, right?
Yeah, he gave an hour. He supports the work, so he came in and talked to the group for an hour. It was wonderful.
Neuroscientist. So it's wonderful. I mean, these are things that really can get you connected with your body so that you can go out and do the things that you want to do, that you can go out and be active or an activist or accomplish the mission that you're here to do and not be inhibited by your body. And so, again, once again, it is a fund drive here at Free Speech TV. Please give us a call, 877-378-8669. All right, so back to the content, because I think it's important. Why do you think that we stop moving as a society? We've talked about pain and accidents and so forth. Why do we become so sedate?
Well, there's many aspects to it. So I want to say something about the brain. The brain is the most complex, the most amazing system we know of thus far in the universe. And we're just babies in understanding it, but the improvements in the last 20, 30, 40 years are enormous. The thing is that the brain is also really lazy. I mean, lazy in the sense that it looks for the most efficient way to just get from here to there. So the brain checks off success. And if it gets what the goal is or what the intent is and the need is, it just does it that way. So I'll give an example. I live half a mile from the grocery store where I shop for food, right? When I drive every day to one of a few hiking trails. And I hike rigorously for an hour, 2 hours if it's the weekend, right? I go all the way, sometimes 20 minutes to get to the coastal trail. On the other hand, when I have to go to buy, I don't know, some groceries, I get in my car, I drive. I never walk to the grocery store. And I go through, maybe I'll walk because this is walking just like walking in a trail. And I take the car keys and I go to drive the car because I want to get groceries. I don't want to hike.
You don't want to hike at that point. Yes.
So if I sit, and you see this with children, and this is really, really seriously not a good thing. If I can take a little electronic device and just move my two thumbs and get full excitement and the whole world is happening on the screen, I will get addicted to that. Because I get everything satisfied. I get the excitement, the brain gets it, and I dissociate it from movement. The same thing happens with emails or with texts or with watching videos. It's so accessible now. I mean, you know the email rabbit hole.
Yes.
Part of it is because we have to do it because we work, but part of it is it's just so easy. It feels like we're accomplishing so much.
It does.
And we're doing nothing because that's how so the brain doesn't have another brain that says, hey brain, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to move. You're supposed to connect movement to thought. You're supposed to connect movement to reality. And so many children, one of the things is, you know, bodies blow up and this and that. They've never been around a body blow up. And some of the stuff that they do is so dissociated from human connection as a result. So that's why, because we can accomplish so much without moving. So that's where one of the things I try to do with the work, and it really takes a decision initially, is I'm going to do the movement lesson that here in this program. It makes movement easier. It makes movement more pleasurable. And when movement gets easier and pleasurable, then you can start saying, okay, I'll walk 10 minutes around the block or 5 minutes, and then you increase it to 10. I am addicted to walking because it's so ingrained in me. I'm like a horse. I have a meter in my brain. So if I travel and I can't, let's say, walk or hike really for a day or 2 or 3, I come home, I find out that I hike longer until I get to my meter amount.
It's set in your brain.
So I decided that's a good addiction.
Yes.
You know, so
it gives you that stimulation, the rewards, the dopamine, all the great happy brain chemicals.
I just love it. It's a lot more pleasurable than doing emails.
I love how you said that you can start slow and
small
and slow, and anybody can do this.
And you call it success. You tell yourself, I walked 5, success. The brain goes like, success, let's do that again. Success, 2 things groove things in the brain in terms of patterns stay in the brain. One is success, and the other one is trauma. The 2 mechanisms. The trauma one is not a good one, and there's ways to get out of it, and the success. So you name success, you call it, you make it so you're successful. I work with people. I didn't touch your pelvis the first time we did the first variation. I didn't touch it the second time, but I mentioned it. And the third time when you were starting to move, that's when I stepped in and I helped it amplify it. I work through success.
Brilliant. Well, I mean, this is the wonderful thing I love about this, is that we're all lifelong learners. I especially am always insatiably curious, will never stop learning, and that's what I love about this. I've learned so much just being here and sitting here, which is so incredible. And you can also take this to the next level too. You could give us a call, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and ask for the Neuromovement Vitality and Anti-Aging and Well-Being online program. And it's also a physical program. Take a look here at a clip of what's to come.
So a big part of this work is to actually become us. I mean, learn us, have the freedom to use ourselves in the way we were built to be used. That's one side of it. The other side is to have the brain and our feeling capacities and our capacity to listen to ourselves and invent ourselves, you see, because all those things are discovered. There's no manual that the baby reads and says, rotate your leg, that'll help your pelvis move, which will help you roll over more easily to your belly. Oh, okay, let me go try it. It's all done by feeling. And the capacity to feel and the capacity to be guided by what you feel is one of the biggest gifts you'll get in this training. It'll also make you more intelligent, trust me.
So that's an example of what is to come. Again, you can call 877-378-8669 right now, and we ask for your donation to support free speech. You can also go to freespeech.org. And here's a wonderful thing about this is that the 9 essentials, we've only gotten to 4 of them here, but the 9 essentials comes with a free ebook here in this program as well. So pick it up and you can get the rest of the essentials and really dive into it with a deep understanding. So I always like to do a segment which is called the Aware News, and it's a part of every show that we're doing, and it brings in statistics and current and relevant events and information and marries it with the content that we're talking about today, consciousness-raising content, and solves and really finds possibilities and solutions around some of today's biggest issues. So now I understand that there's a statistic at the National Institute of Health, and it says that pain affects more Americans than heart disease, cancer, and diabetes combined, which is huge. Why do you think this is the case?
I would say that pain is always the indication of something that's not quite right. Pain is a good thing. The reason I think so many people get to the point of pain is because we are not attuned to our bodies and feel and get that something is off and adjust it. So there was a bunch of years back in the news, in Japan, in a restaurant, the fish were bad, and there was a group of 15 people that ate dinner together. 3 felt that something was wrong and went and threw up, and they were fine. And the rest got sick, and 2 of them died. That is an example. So when I put my foot a certain way, and it impacts my knee in a certain direction that is not quite right, the pain, unless it's extreme, the pain is not going to be there yet. If I attune my brain and wake it up and get habituated to feel and not know what's going on exactly, or not know the solution in a cognitive way, but allow the feeling to guide me to change, I will not feel as much pain or as often. And that's what happens. So with surgeries and with diseases, it gets to a point, there is a pain due to that. And we can, that's a whole other topic about that. But with just daily activity, I think that we are so much dissociated, and pain is a sign of health in the sense that there is it's
still a sensor coming.
It's a call for action, but it gets louder and louder and louder until somebody yells in your head, in your ear, hey.
Most people don't want to deal with the pain. We have a huge opioid epidemic in this country.
Well, they want to deal with the pain. They just look for a solution.
Yeah.
And I can't blame people, because if you don't know that there is a solution.
Yes, which is interesting. 130 people die every day from the opioid epidemic.
Yeah.
That's 130 people that we don't need to lose every day if we could find solutions around this or possibilities.
Yeah, but this is very high-level education. This approach that you're interviewing, you yourself, this program in general, not just today, is very sophisticated. And the challenge is, how do you attract people that don't see themselves as learners, that they maybe didn't do too well in school, or there wasn't great value to learning?
That's a great point.
And so we start with the people that come, and then we look how to do it. And once people get addicted to opioid, there's a whole other level of huge challenge, way beyond what we're talking here.
To overcome the addiction.
To choose to get out of it, to do a program to get out of it,
Well, there's so much more to talk about. You also do an incredible amount of work with children, and I just want you to mention this really quickly, because there's a movie that you did.
Yeah.
We'll have you back on to talk about it all, but if you can mention it really quickly.
Yeah, well, the work we do is with children with special needs, and we use this approach, and we really get wonderful results. And we also work with the parents, because the parents are so important in that. And a film called A Life Unbound was done by a Canadian filmmaker, and Jody Trifa, and it shows a story of a child that was born with pretty severe brain damage and very bad prognosis, and him coming all to standing and walking and talking and being a full child and so
Amazing.
on. And the other one is a young adult, a 28-year-old, beautiful woman, athlete that had a stroke at the age of 27. Very severe stroke, and aphasic, she couldn't really talk and think properly, you know, her thinking was garbled, and paralyzed on the right side and so on. And it shows the story of her, Tessa, and now she's a practitioner. I just talked to her a week ago. Somebody from Florida flown her in to work with her adult child.
Wow. See, these are
Yes.
incredible stories,
Yeah.
and you can see them all and check all of this out here with the Neuromovement and Vitality Anti-Aging and Well-Being package from Anat Baniel. Thank you so much. If you want to take this again to the next level and go through these movement lessons, 11 of them, it's a 5-day full workshop. You will totally, completely learn so much here. So give us a call, 877-378-8669, and you can go to freespeech.org. And thank you again. Thank you for teaching us about neuromovement and what's possible.
I want to thank you, Lisa, for making this program and for being not just a lifelong learner, but dedicating your life to providing opportunities for others to benefit from all the riches that you have discovered in different teachers.
You got me. You do. You do. And thank you so much. If you would like to check out my website, which is theawareshow.com. You can also look me up on Facebook and say hi under Lisa Garr, host, or The Aware Show. I am Lisa Garr, and until next time, I invite you to stay aware.